slash and burn, return. Listen to yourself churn. Locking in, uniform and book, burning blood, letting every motive escalate. Automotive incinerate, light a candle, light a motor, step down, watch your heel crush, crush. Uh-oh, this means no fear. Cavalier, renegade, steer clear. A tournament of lies. Offer me solutions, offer me alternatives, and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. The other night I drifted nice, continental drifted by mountain, sit in a line. Leonard Bernstein, Leonard Brezhnev, Lenny Bruce and Lester Banks, birthday party, cheesecake, jelly bean, boom, music, symbiotic, patriotic, slam, but next, right? Right. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
Hello and evening, Doomers. It is music for the end of the world here on 93.7 Edge FM. Hosted by me, Chris, where we play music and talk all things collapse. And tonight, it's very special because I've got a special guest in, my brother, Michael. Evening, Michael. It's good that you came in, bro. And you brought in some music too, which is nice. Quite a eclectic sort of choice of songs, I've got to say. From punk to the Jam to Billy Bragg, Beastie Boys, Neil Young, UMI. I'm surprised you haven't got more UMI songs, actually. Okay. Yeah, nice. All right. And you haven't got one of their sort of more well-known songs too, which is good. Excellent. So we've got lots of cool music to play tonight while we talk about all things collapse. And my first thing I just want to say is that the climate change doomsday clock had to be updated because it is pretty close to midnight. Not looking good, Doomers, as we all know. And you would have probably heard. Have you heard of the doomsday clock? Okay, it's sort of. It came into existence after the war, really, after Hiroshima and stuff. And it's always been under 10 minutes to midnight. But now they have a climate change doomsday clock, which is, I think, 4 minutes to midnight. The actual doomsday clock, which takes everything into account, is less than a minute now, or just over a minute. So not looking good. So, but the climate change doomsday clock has a whole bunch of different, what do you call it? Categories that they use to sorry about that. I had the music going there. Jesus. I pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, so the doomsday clock. It is pretty close to midnight. And the climate change doomsday clock has global temperatures continuing to rise faster and faster. That's one reason. And that most people don't understand that our climate change system has momentum factors already built into it. Because, you know, like, as you would know, Michael, that climate change is the things that we're experiencing now is a lag of factors from like 30, 40 years ago, you know, the CO2 that's in there now. So so we've got that. We've got the accelerating global warming emergency is not in a vacuum. There's lots of other challenges. A whole bunch of things. Overconsumption, the depletion of our resources. Oh, man, there's pollution. What's that?
Trouble in the Middle East.
Trouble in the Middle East. Jesus, Israel. Are they going to bring us all into World War IV? Man, I tell you, you got those crazy guys. You got the pollution, land, sea, air. The loss of biodiversity is a big one. You know, like the amount of wild animals now, of mammals in the world is, I think, of all animals, is probably like 4% or something. It's nothing. Most of the mass on this planet is us and our, what do you call it? Farm animals, pigs, cows, chickens, sheep, that sort of stuff. So loss of biodiversity, big one. Pandemics, as we witnessed in 2019, they're going to become more common. Global economic insecurity. I don't know if you're a bit of a financial dude. Have you been following the economic headlines?
Having very little money, it's sort of...
Right, okay, fair enough.
But I think here we are sort of...
It's not looking good.
No, we hear the cost of living crisis constantly.
Yes.
Get richer,
Of course.
and they don't like to share.
No, they don't. And all the reserve banks have been buying up gold in massive quantities at the moment. And that sort of leads into economic inequality. That's a big thing, you know, social and racial injustice, hunger, poverty, local, regional, international conflicts, terrorism, migrations. Let's not forget migrations. I mean, you know, if they're building walls in Europe now to stop a few Middle Eastern and African dudes coming over, what are they going to do when there's tens of millions coming over? Because everyone's just looking for food, man. Just looking for food. So, and political instability. I mean, you know, if Trump can be president, there's political instability. Collapsing governments, you know. Right-wing governments coming up everywhere. So, there's lots of things. Lots of things to influence the doomsday clock. Now, let's go back to music, my friend. Right, we're going to play Billy Bragg's song. Talk us through it, Michael.
As you know, within our family there is one Billy Bragg song that is played quite often at all our get-togethers.
Yes.
With everyone joining in one form or another. And I even took our parents to see Billy Bragg.
Who enjoyed it immensely.
Yes, and left as soon as this song was played.
That wasn't the gig at the Phoenix Club, was it?
No, at the Enmore.
Oh, the Enmore. Because we did go to the Phoenix Club with Mum and Dad, I'm pretty sure.
Probably the greatest gig I've ever seen.
Yes. It was probably one of the best venues I've been to. And, yeah, it was like an old musical sort of style.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. And I see you've got one of the songs, one of the covers that he played at that concert.
Yes, that is Marisol's choice for tonight.
Oh, nice. Well done, Marisol. Big shout out to you.
But, most of the songs obviously have some sort of poignant meaning, and obviously Billy Bragg is just special to all our family.
Yes, nice choice. So we're going to go up first song, people. Waiting for the Great Leap Forward by the great Billy Bragg.
It may have been Camelot for Jack and Jacqueline. But on the Che Guevara highway, filling up with gasoline, Fidel Castro's brother spies a rich lady who's crying over the luxury's disappointment. So he walks over and he's trying to sympathise with her, but he thinks that he should warn her that the third world is just around the corner. In the Soviet Union, a scientist is blinded by the resumption of nuclear testing, and he is reminded that Dr. Robert Oppenheimer's optimism fell at the first hurdle. In the cheese pavilion, and the only noise I hear is the sound of someone stacking chairs and mopping up spilled beer, and someone asking questions and basking in the light of the 15 fame-filled minutes of the fanzine writer. Mixing pop and politics, he asks me what the use is. I offer him embarrassment and my usual excuses, while looking down the corridor out to where the van is waiting. I'm looking for the great leap forward. Jumble sales are organised and pamphlets have been posted. Even after closing time, there's still parties to be hosted. You can be active with the activists, or sleeping with the sleepers while you're waiting for the great leap forwards. One leap forwards, two leaps back. Will politics get me the sack? Waiting for the great leap forwards. Well, here comes the future and you can't run from it. You've got a blacklist, I want to be on it. Waiting for the great leap forwards. Well, it's a mighty long way down rock and roll, from top of the pops to drawing the down. You're waiting for the great leap forwards. If no one out there understands, start your own revolution and cut out the middleman. For the great leap forwards. In a perfect world we'll all sing in tune, but this is reality, so give us a room. Waiting for the great leap forwards. So join the struggle while you make the revolution is just a t-shirt away. Waiting for the great leap forwards. 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 Bring me up, Scotty! Waiting for the great leap forwards. Waiting for the great leap forwards. Waiting for the great leap forwards. Waiting for the great leap forwards.
Billy Bragg and the Great Leap Forward. And what an artist. If you ever get a chance to see him live, highly recommend you go, because he's terrific live. How long did he play for? It was like at least 3 hours.
3.5, and I think the lights came on and we started to leave, and he ran back on stage and said, "Where are you going? We're having a knees up tonight," and then continued on.
Yeah. No, really good concert. Really good. I didn't have Michael's mic up, so sorry about that, everyone. Had a few wrong buttons pushed here, but now everything's cool. As I was saying, we've got a great music selection, a whole bunch of different stuff, from the Jam to the Dead Kennedys to UMI. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about tonight about the military, because they make us feel safe, don't they? Now, first of all, though, every guest that comes in, I've got to say, so how are you going with the end of the world as we know it, brother?
I'm probably a bit more of a ostrich than you. I think just try and
fair enough.
enjoy life, and then as you do, you can't help but think it because it pervades every aspect of your life.
Absolutely.
But you know, we all have kids, and we want to try and be as positive we can.
Exactly. I find it sort of when you come to the realisation of what's happening about ecological overshoot, and how it doesn't matter what we do now, it's all baked in. We will be going extinct at some time in the future, and we can argue about when that's going to happen. And of course, you know, before the last human goes extinct, there's collapse and all sorts of things. It makes you reevaluate your life and your goals. And I don't know about you, but I find the things that are important to me are the people that I love, keeping them close, spending time with them. Work, not so much. Yes, you need a bit of money to pay the bills and stuff, but that's about it, really. You know, if you can try and minimise that as much as you can. All the other crap that you deal with in life and stuff is not really, you know, because I always think, because I'm a teacher, you know, and I deal with kids and behaviour issues and reports and things, and I always got a soft spot for kids because I know what the future holds for them, and I always think, nah, why get upset over an interview with a parent or something or other when, you know, it's the end of the world as we know it, you know. Jesus, it puts everything into perspective. How do you feel about that? Do you have the same sort of thing?
Probably a bit less so.
Okay.
I mean, it makes me quite depressed, the state of
Of
the world.
course, man, of course.
But I think, you know, even without collapse, I think if you don't live life where you have more enjoyable days than ones that you think, well, that was pretty painful.
Yeah.
So you just, like you said, heartfelt connections with people that, you know, you love and that you make a connection with. That's what you got to try and do more often than not.
Absolutely. And that's what I try and do. So it's nice. I'm pretty close. My daughter lives with me with her family, and my other kids aren't too far away. Well, one's in Queensland. But hey, Belly, shout out to you. Good luck in the AFL 9s tonight. She's playing AFL 9s.
Oh, finals or just...
No, it's just I think it's the second game in the comp or something. So good luck for that. All right, well, let's get back to a little bit of music now. What did you feel like, my friend? Because you've got so many good songs here. What would you like to hear?
What about a punk one?
A punk one. Well, of course, you can't go past Ramon, surely.
Sounds good.
One of the champions. One of my big heroes, seeing that I'm playing in a band that does covers of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. So here is the Ramones with Bonzo Goes to Pittsburgh. Ah, the Ramones. Bonzo Goes to Pittsburgh. Excellent. You got to love the Ramones. How many of them are left alive, Mish?
They're all gone.
What?
Yeah, they're all gone.
They're all gone?
Yep.
I thought there were two left. I thought only two died.
No, they're all gone. So they were the first concert I ever saw at the Enmore.
Oh, man.
With Rat Cat as support in 1989.
What was that big Rat Cat song?
That Ain't Bad.
That Ain't Bad. Yeah. Oh, wow, they're all gone, the Ramones.
Yeah.
Man, they weren't that old.
Joey had lymphoma.
Oh, okay.
I forget about
Fair
Johnny,
enough.
but yeah. They had a few different drummers, but they're all gone now.
Jeez. Yes, time moves on. Time moves on. Hey, you know the show Insight on SBS?
Yes.
Hosted by Kumi someone now.
Yeah, it used to be a
There
lady.
used to be another woman. I forget her name.
Was it Jenny Brocky?
Nah, I don't know. Anyway, I don't watch much TV apart from the football, but a friend texts me, knowing my views on the end of the world, and said, "Are you watching Inside at the moment? What was it called? The End of Days. It's titled." And I said, no, I'm not watching it. Anyway, I watched it today. Because I thought, okay, I'll give it end of days. All right, what have they got on? And I was disappointed, my friend. Disappointed. Of course, I had my hopes up. I mean, it's SBS, not the ABC, so it's a step up. But they had one person on who was some member of some cult who was talking about doomsday as prophesies and blah, blah, blah. And she's prepping because things are going... You know, they had a prepper on.
So what do you think of the preppers?
Well, I mean, it depends because everyone's a prepper in a way. I mean, when you're dealing with the end of the world as you know it and you get your mind around it, I suppose you're not really a prepper, but you know what's coming, so you're preparing a little bit. But this prepper on was, yes, she said, oh, look, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I think bad things will, but I'm not sure when. So I'm just getting things ready, you know, out in my farm with my bloody cellar and stuff like that. They did have that young girl from Lismore, Coco someone, who's Extinction Rebellion, who's been arrested 29 times or something at different... You know, she stopped the Westgate
Bridge?
Yeah, or the Westgate Bridge or something. She stopped 3 lanes or whatever, and she got a jail term for that.
Yeah.
And all about Extinction Rebellion, you know, talking about the climate change. And she was the best, but they didn't have her speaking that much, and she only mentioned climate change. Ecological overshoot was not mentioned. Now, when you're talking about the end of the days and you don't mention ecological overshoot, I'm afraid you've lost me. You have lost me. You know, and plus, you know how SBS, they have little video snippets before they get someone to talk, you know, about their person and what they do and blah, blah, blah. And they even sort of made slight jokes about, you know, like there's guys in sandwich boards walking around, the end of the world is nigh, that sort of stuff. So I figure, well, if they're going to have a laugh at it, if that's how they're treating it, you know, then of course they're not going to have a great show. Which they didn't, people. It was rubbish. You know? No, it was what they did, they treated it like a psychological problem, a condition. Like a delusion. Like all these people have got anxiety about the end of the world, about climate change. You know, rather than actually talking about it in a sensible, proper way, the reality of it, they were talking about... Like they had one historian on who was going on about, oh, you know, we can't... Anxiety's bad. We need to have hope. You know? Hope for what, bro? That's what I would like someone to yell out, but, you know, they didn't. It was rubbish. Anyway, you didn't miss anything, Doomers. If you did watch Inside in Australia here on SBS on whatever night it was, Tuesday night or something, end days, it was as we expect from the mainstream media, basically. Nothing. All right. Oh, it's time for some sponsors, without which we would not be able to operate. So here you are, lovely sponsors.
Tathra Tyres and Auto have been servicing motor vehicles in Tathra since 1993. Ron, Paddy and Matt are proud supporters of Bega's community radio station, 93.7 Edge FM.
You might be familiar with Coastal Country Sheds and Garages, but now you'll notice the name has changed to Fair Dinkum Builds Bega Valley. A little change that goes a long way for our customers. We'll always be your local experts when it comes to building commercial premises with flexible builds, quality material and great service. And we're stepping things up even further. For you, for keeps. Search Fair Dinkum Builds today or drop by and see us at 3 West Street, North Bega.
Fair Dinkum Builds Bega Valley is a long-time sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
Thank you, our lovely sponsors, and make sure you give them your patronage, listeners, if you're down here in the Bega Valley. So you were asking about overshoot, ecological overshoot. What you're saying, what exactly is ecological overshoot? An overshoot, basically, as I've explained on this show many times, it doesn't matter what species it is. It can be insect, mammals, reptiles, doesn't matter. A species, because of the environment they're in and the favourable conditions with resources and food and stuff and no predators or whatever, they will expand, breed exponentially, You know, as long as there's enough food for them all, they'll breed more. Until, finally, of course, you know, the classic one is a whole bunch of deer, I think, or rabbits or something on an island. And they just bred because there was no foxes or anything, and nothing was attacking them, so they could breed, and they ate until all the grass was gone. Then they start eating the roots, and they start eating the bark, slowly die. And basically, what it is, if you're a biologist, you talk to a biologist, it reaches a point where you have this huge exponential curve going up for the population expanding, and then bang, there's a huge decline, a rapid decline. And so when I say ecological overshoot, I mean Homo sapiens, people. You know, there's 8 billion of us consuming resources at a completely ridiculous rate, consuming energy, you know, emitting vast amounts of waste. It's like, you know, have you heard of Overshoot Day?
No.
Overshoot Day is, globally, they take the average, because of course Australia being a first world country is one of the worst contributors, but they take the global average of a human. We need, I think, 2.5 or something planets to sustain us. Like the amount of resources that we use, the amount of waste that the Earth is able to regenerate and sustain. And
For our current population, you're saying?
for our current population. So we're over it. So Overshoot Day this year was, I think, August the 1st. August the 1st. Which meant up until then, we were fine. One planet's system could sustain us, but after that, bang, we're on the second planet. Now, of course, if you took Australia, our Overshoot Day would be, I think it's in March or April. So we only got until March, bang, and then we need another one. I think we're like 3.5 or 4 planets worth, the average Australian. Same with Americans. I mean, all the West, all the rich people. If you took Yemen or maybe Rwanda or Mali or something, you know, then they're living within the means. But we're not. So that's what overshoot is. So the whole problem is CO2 emissions, climate change is just one problem of the predicament that we're in, which is ecological overshoot. And that's why when you just look at one particular problem, say CO2, so people go, okay, well, we need solar, we need wind turbines, we need electric cars, and that'll save us because then we won't be emitting the CO2. But where are you going to get all the minerals to build the solar panels and the batteries and the wind turbines? You still need fossil fuels to make them. You're just going to have to mine the bugger out of the earth. I mean, there's not enough minerals. There's not, because, you know, they need all those, what do they call them?
Like the stuff you get in the Congo, like the cobalt.
That's right. All those
in mobile phones.
Not precious minerals, but they're in short supply, special minerals and stuff.
Yeah.
They just can't do it, you know. So I look upon, you know, that sort of stuff as, well, they call it greenwashing. You know, papering over the problem, think, oh, it'll be okay because I've got an electric car. Everything's all right. I'm afraid, Dooms, as you know, everything is not all right.
Resources are finite, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. It is 7:32 here on 93.7 Edge FM for my special guest, my brother Michael, who I call Mish for family reasons. That's just how it is. And he's brought in a great song list. All right. What are we going to have next?
What do you fancy listening to?
Well, I usually always play a little bit of reggae or ska on the show. So I might do the specials, I think. Message to You, Rudy. Yep, which we heard Billy Bragg play at that concert at the Phoenician Club. He came out and did a cover of that one. He did a couple of covers. He said, I don't know what song to play. I've played them all. And he played that one, which was terrific. So we might have 2 songs now, people. We're going to have Message to You, Rudy, and then, of course, we're going to have my brother's favourite band of all time. I don't know how many times he's seen them. I've lost count. He's spoken to the lead singer. I think even his kids have, I think maybe the lead singer read a story to his kids, and that is You Am I with Tim Rogers. How much is enough? So here we are, starting off with the specials.
Stop your messing around.
great Tim Rogers with You Am I. And before that, of course, was... Who did we have before that? Oh, Message to You, Rudy by the Specials, which Billy Bragg played at the concert we saw at the Phoenician Club. So, You Am I know you love him, man. How many times have you seen him, you reckon?
Oh,
You lost count.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Always good.
and whereabouts did Tim read a story? I'm pretty sure you told me he was reading a storybook to a whole bunch of kids.
Yes, it was Never Mind the... It was a takeoff of Never Mind the Buzzcocks, or Never Mind the Bollocks by the Pistols.
All right.
And it was something, the A to Z of punk music. And he read it to the kids at the Berry Music Festival.
Ah, the Berry Music Festival. So there you go, people. You want a nice music festival to go to if you got kids? And someone, maybe Tim, will read them a story. The history of punk music or something.
That was good.
Excellent. I'm sure all the parents enjoyed it as well. Yes. Who was sitting down the front row? The kids or the parents?
No, the parents. No, the kids, sorry. And one really annoying one that Tim was very polite to, which he kept interrupting him.
All right. One of those little children. Yeah.
But he got one of the little kids up on stage when they played and put his guitar on him. And
Oh, really?
yeah.
There you go, guys. I think it's still going, isn't it, the Berry Festival?
I think COVID put a damper on it, and I'm not sure if it's like most of the music festivals, whether they're sort of gone into hiatus or whether they'll re-emerge. But that was when I saw, first time I went there was when I saw Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. He would have been old.
Yeah, his daughter had to help him up on stage.
Could he still play guitar?
Yeah, it was great. It was just nice to see him in all his different hats. And
Did he play most of the songs from Cold Fact?
yes. So I Wonder,
Yeah.
J.N.S. Pity, and
Establishment Blues.
Establishment Blues.
Oh,
That was great.
Nice. Yeah. If you haven't seen that doco, what's it called?
Searching for the Sugar.
Searching for Sugar Man. Yeah, that's a really good doco to see. If you like Rodriguez, really, really good. And what a humble guy. What a really nice guy he came across as.
Yeah. Just
Man.
work construction.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, time for some more sponsor announcements.
Shakespeare asked, what's in a name? Well, in Bendigo Community Bank Panhandle and Biggest case, absolutely everything. As their name suggests, they're a community bank, setting them apart from the big city banks because they're owned by the community, run by the community, for the community. So every dollar they make makes it back into the community. Since opening, that totals a whopping $1 million and counting. That's a million good reasons to bank with Bendigo Community Bank Panhandle and Bega, and you don't need a 16th century playwright to tell you that.
Bendigo Bank is a proud sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
With a vision to create an inclusive world for all, Encore Support is now offering their compassionate care and services on the Sapphire Coast. Encore supports individuals of all ages to live in their communities with a sense of well-being, independence and belonging. Call them now on 02 4402 9231. They're ready to assist. Encore Support, the more you're looking for. Encore Support is a proud sponsor of 93.7 Edge FM.
Thank you, dear sponsors, without whom we would not be here. Now, I just wanted to draw your attention, Mish, to we're talking about all the dilemmas facing us and talking about insight and how most people, a little bit like yourself, like to be ostriches and stick their heads in the sand. And unfortunately, that applies to all our leaders, which is unfortunate because I'm going to be talking about the military. And did you know that the US military is a bigger polluter than 140 countries, other countries?
Combined?
No, not combined. More bigger polluter than 140 other different countries. It's enormous. It relies upon extensive global network of container ships, trucks, cargo planes, to supply its operations. bombs, humanitarian aid, hydrocarbon fuels. And this latest study has calculated the contribution, what this infrastructure is to climate change. And as you can guess, it's pretty big. It shows that the US military is one of the largest polluters in history, consuming more liquid fuels and emitting more climate-changing gases than most medium-sized countries. If it was a country, the US military, its fuel usage alone would make it the 47th largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world. That's sitting between Peru and Portugal. That's just the US military. Forget the Russian military, the Chinese military, all the other ones. That's just the US. In 2017, the US military bought around 270,000 barrels of oil a day and emitted more than 25,000 kilotons of carbon dioxide by burning those fuels. The US Air Force purchased $4.9 billion worth of fuel, the Navy $2.8 billion, followed by the Army at $947, because they've got all the grunts. And the Marines at $36 million. They don't get much. They got to sacrifice. So, and it's no coincidence, you know, you look at the reports from the IPCC and stuff like that, that the US military missions tend to be overlooked in climate change studies. It's difficult to get consistent data, of course, from Pentagon. Everything's hush-hush. But the US insisted on an exemption for reporting military emissions in 1997 Kyoto Protocol. So they closed it in the Paris Accord, but Trump administration wants to withdraw from this accord if he gets elected. And so then we will have no information. So, and the thing is, I reckon, like with the military, I've seen a few interviews with top generals and stuff, and they are making contingency plans for exactly the end of the world as we know it. Like, that's their biggest threat. More than Russia or China, or the biggest threat, because they know, you know, everything's connected.
But what contingency can you have?
Exactly. What are their contingencies? I don't know. They recognise that, what do they say? So the US military has long understood that it isn't immune from the potential consequences of climate change, and they recognise it as a threat multiplier that can exacerbate other risks. I suppose they're trying to maybe go more renewable energy for a lot of their things. They certainly haven't closed down many bases.
Well, they haven't stopped their weapons production.
No. It says here there have been attempts to green aspects of its operations by increasing renewable electricity generation on bases, but it still remains the single largest institutional consumer of hydrocarbons in the world. And it's locked in for years and years and years to come. I mean, how much does America spend on defence? It's
be trillions.
I think it's over $1 trillion. Yeah. It's huge. Jesus. You know, so what they could be spending that money on? Community gardens, for example. You know, let's set up some community, moving people away from the coast, a whole bunch of things.
They could just pay other countries not to.
They could pay other countries not to emit it. I know. That's crazy. That's the world we live in, people. Yeah. All right, some more music. What are we going to have, bro? What are we going to have?
What have we got left on the list?
Well, we've got the Jam. We've still got another punk. Who we got? We got the Dead Kennedys. Ash. I'm not really familiar with Ash.
Well, we're going to see Ash on the 12th.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
They're at the Manning Bar at Sydney Uni.
Oh, that'll be a nice gig.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Small gig. So have you liked Ash for a while, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah.
You learn something new about your brother every day.
Saw them at Roskilde.
Oh, I used to live at Roskilde. What a great festival Roskilde is. If you don't know Doomers, it's in Denmark. It's a terrific festival. Who else did you see? Because I know your lineup was fantastic.
I think the 4 headliners were Sex Pistols, David Bowie, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, and the Chili Peppers.
Wow.
But it had pretty much, with the exception of like Radiohead and that, it had pretty much every band I've ever wanted to see.
Oh, man.
So, but, and as far as trying to find a glimmer of light, or what you do when you're prepping, music.
Yes, of course. That's right. Music is the language of us all. That's what gives me solace too, mate. Being close to your loved ones and playing music. That's the key. And it doesn't matter what music is. It could be punk, like the Dead Kennedys with Chemical Warfare, or it could be, what do you call Ash?
Grunge.
Grunge with Angel Interceptor. Is that a well-known song of theirs?
Not from me. I think it's probably one of the later ones.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's go with Chemical Warfare first because we're running out of time. It is 7:50 here on 93.7 Edge FM. You're listening to Music for the End of the World, hosted by me, Chris, and my special guest, Michael, my brother, who's come all the way down from the Southern Highlands, who he tells me the Southern Highlands community radio station, was it last year?
Well, it says it on the thing, but...
They won the award for the best community radio station?
Regional community
radio
possibly.
station. Soon to be overtaken by bigger Edge FM, of course. But anyway, here we go with the Dead Kennedys, a little bit of punk. Chemical Warfare, which, of course, is pretty topical now. Who knows what those Israelis are going to do? All the Iranians, all the Lebanese, God, they're all crazy. All right, here we are, Dead Kennedys.
Keep the nerve gases. Gotta be a night by kids right around it. Been sitting there for years, I'm gonna have it. I go through the fence, running in and go rabbit crazy. Crazy, now I got my own what's the gas in my pocket. I'm on a tree, on a branch, and a rabbit. I'm a good girl for the Saturday covers. So I can watch them die. So the chicken is the boss go crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Chemical warfare, chemical warfare, chemical warfare, 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 chemical warfare, chemical warfare, chemical warfare, warfare, warfare. I'm in the air, see the headless chickens running. Gold cars and a fashion cracking inside your bed. Rack the gas until you can't breathe. And roll and ride in the sand inside the heat. You know, little girls let me see us see. Crazy, 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 crazy. Chemical warfare, chemical warfare, chemical warfare, 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 chemical warfare, chemical warfare, chemical warfare, warfare, warfare. Sensitive to the touch, mowing down my putting green, and it's safe for the big clubhouse. Well, the stuff country club, effervescent ladies, so carefree, relax, those guys you fool, in the lips of the high martini. Until... oh shit, what is going on?
Chemical Warfare. Yes, nice, by the Dead Kennedys. You gotta love them.
One to put your kids to sleep to.
That's right. Get the kiddies onto that. They love it. And that has inspired me, my friend, because I was talking to you about the Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And because very sad day yesterday, I think it was, I saw on my Facebook feed, or the day before, Chris Christopherson passed away. And he has written some fantastic songs. And one of them is one of my favourites, which is by Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And it is Sunday Morning Coming Down. And I've got to say, I've listened to the original, and I love Chris, but I've got to say, the Gimme Gimmes have got a great version. So here they are, a little bit more punk. Sunday Morning Coming Down by Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Then I fumbled in my closet, through my clothes, and found my cleanest sturdy shirt. And I washed my face and combed my hair, stumbled down the stairs to meet the day. I'd smoked my mind the night before with cigarettes and songs that I'd been picking. But I lit my first and watched the small kid playing with a can that he was kicking. And I walked across the street and caught the Sunday smell of someone's fried chicken. And it took me back to something that I'd lost somewhere, somehow along the way. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday that makes the body feel alone. And there's nothing short of tired. Half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk. And Sunday morning coming down. In the park I saw a daddy with a laughing little girl that he was swinging. And I stopped behind a Sunday school and listened to the songs that they were singing. I headed down the street and somewhere far away a lonely bell was ringing. And it echoed through the canyons like the disappearing dreams of yesterday. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I wish, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday that makes the bodies feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying. It's half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk. It's Sunday morning coming down of the sleeping city sidewalk. And Sunday morning coming down. Oh.
Ah, the Gimmes. Sunday Morning Coming Down. Rest in peace, Chris Christopherson. That is a masterpiece, my friend. A masterpiece. Well, it's getting up to that time of the night, Doomers, where we're going to be signing off. Very pleased to have my special guest, my brother Michael, here. And I think talking about evolutionary success, you know, people going on about how great humans are, Homo sapiens, you know. And the only way that nature measures evolutionary success, of course, is by how long a species survives. And Homo sapiens has been here. You tell me, what do you reckon, how long have we been here? Modern Homo sapiens. Not a very long time.
No.
About 250,000 years, basically. Agriculture-based civilization, which is when it changed a little bit, is only about 10,000 years in the Holocene. And our fossil fuel-based thing is only about 200 years old. Yeah, in that short time, though, we have managed to trash the whole place. Yep. As time goes on, it becomes more obvious.
George Carlin puts it very well.
George Carlin, he was ahead of his time, that's right. Yeah, climate change is just a lagging indicator. The effects we see from it, as I said before, are mostly from the trashing that we did years ago. But climate change is what's going to get us, man. That'll come later. Of course, it won't help having climate change. But first, though, the beginnings of it will be, disrupt the fragile house of cards that our globally interconnected society, economical system is, making a mess of this thing that we call civilization. Just like Jenga. You've played Jenga. You try to remove some of the blocks before, you get to the top and the whole thing collapses. And that's what it's all about. Biodiversity loss, ocean acidification, melting polar caps, the death of the biosphere, pandemics, you name it. The, what do they call it? What do they call all the insects disappearing? They call it
Troubling.
Insect apocalypse or something like that, And even if some fraction of Homo sapiens survives, given what's going to remain, I don't think they're going to be there long. And really, would you want to? Still, as I think, mate, you reevaluate your life, you get things into perspective, and sometimes I think it's a privilege to be here in the front row seat, at the end of the universe. For us. Of course, the planet will keep on going. It'll evolve in another couple of million years. There'll be some other life forms and stuff, but we get to watch this amazing train wreck happen in real time. So it's quite a show, Doomers, as you know. Well, it's the end of the show. It's 2 minutes past 8. What are we going to go out on? Bro?
Neil Young, I think.
Of course. Neil Young, who you saw at Roskilde with Crazy Horse.
Yeah. I think it's a good one to end the show.
Rocking in the free world. How free will it remain? That remains to be seen because it's getting tighter everywhere. I mean, look at climate protesters. You can go to jail now for protesting about climate change. So you can protest about anything else. Wearing masks, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Have a little Nazi salute, that's okay. But if you do climate change, go to jail. So rocking in the free world. We'll see you next week, people. Hopefully I'll have another guest. And I should mention, if you are down Bega Way on Wednesday nights and you would like to be a guest on Music for the End of the World, I'm more than happy to have you on and talk collapse. So just email Edge 93.7 Edge FM, Bega Community Radio Station. Go to the website. It'll have the contact details there. Email me and we can set up a time for you to come in, come on the show and talk collapse. Because I know there's a few people listening around the place. Someone texted me today from Browley who's going to listen in tonight. And so, yeah, big thank you to all those people. But if you'd like to be a guest and come in and you can choose the music, I don't mind. Email the station. And as I say, people, collapse is inevitable, but justice is not. So we still have something to fight for, bro.
Yep.
In our ringside seats, we can still, go out and protest about stuff. All right. Good night, everyone. Stay safe. Keep those community relationships happening. And here is one of the greats, the grandfather of grunge, that's what I call him, Neil Young, with Rockin' in the Free World. Good night, Doomers.